Welcome everybody, my name is Lindsay Kelling and I'm the Healthy Teaching Kitchen Dietitian at the Truman VA Hospital in Columbia, Missouri. And today we're going to be making shrimp tacos. So we're going to start with a pound of shrimp that have been deveined and the shells taken off and the tails taken off, so we don't want any of that. And then to these, while they're in this bowl, we're going to go ahead and mix some taco seasoning on top of it. If you have a package of taco seasoning, just sprinkle one of those on top of it. If you're looking for a lower sodium option, you can make your own taco seasoning. And this one is just 2 teaspoons of chili powder, a tablespoon of cumin, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of paprika. And depending on how spicy you want it, you can add all of it, not all of it. I still like to be able to taste the shrimp a little bit, so try not to over season things. And then if you want a little bit more garlic flavor to it, you can add a teaspoon of additional garlic powder. Or if you wanted to use some fresh garlic, if you have some minced garlic, you can add that to it as well. And then we're also going to add just a little bit of fresh lime juice. This really makes the flavor pop a little bit more. So on our limes, just get you a nice lime that's not too soft. You want to find one that's a little bit firm but not hard. We're going to take it on our counter and we're going to take the palm of our hand and we're going to roll it. That helps to break up those little pockets of juice that's on the inside. And then we're going to just take them and cut them in half. Now, once you cut it in half, you're going to put the cut side down on the palm of your hand. This helps to keep any little seeds that might be in there from getting into your recipe, because that will make it have a little bit of a bitterness to it. Okay, so we're just going to stir all of that up, get that flavor all mixed in. Shrimp can be a good lean protein source. They do have a little bit of cholesterol in them, but they can be a good way to get a little bit of fish in each week. All right, so we're going to take these and we're going to go ahead and cook them on our cooktop. So we're just going to take a pan and we're going to heat a little bit of olive oil. And we're using an extra virgin olive oil. This is a way to get some of those mono and polyunsaturated fats in this. And then we're just going to add our shrimp to the pan. So we just put our shrimp in the pan with our seasonings and we've let it cook for 1 to 2 minutes on each side. We just want the shrimp to get nice and pink in color. That's going to let you know that it's starting to get done. But we also want to make sure we do some food safety with this recipe to make sure our shrimp cook to the proper temperature. So we're going to take our food thermometer and we're going to measure a couple of different spots in our pan, and we want our shrimp to hit at least 145 degrees. All right, so our shrimp is done. We just want to make sure we don't overcook that shrimp. You get it too done and it's going to be a rubbery texture. So we're going to set that to the side just for a second, and we're going to make the cabbage slaw to go on our shrimp tacos. So we're going to take cilantro first. We just want to cut some. If you don't mind the stems in your recipe, they're fine to keep in there. If you don't like that kind of woody texture, you can get the leaves off, you can pull them off by fingers, or if you want to try using a fork and running it down your cilantro, it'll help to pull off some of those leaves, and then you're just left with the stem itself. And then the top ones, usually you can pluck off pretty easily without getting a lot of stem in it. So if you want to do that, you're welcome to. If you don't mind a little bit of that stem in there, you can just take your chef's knife. Again, we're going to take our thumb on one side of the blade, our index finger on the other, and wrap our remaining fingers around the handle. And we're just going to take kind of that top part of our cilantro. We only need a couple of tablespoons for this recipe. And we're going to put our cilantro back on the center of our cutting board and we're going to roll it. By rolling it, it keeps those cilantro leaves from running away whenever we're trying to cut them. So get them in a nice tight roll. And then we're going to take our chef's knife and we're going to leave the tip of our chef's knife on our cutting board. We're not going to pick it up. And we're going to roll our knife away from us and slice our cilantro leaves. Now, if you want it a little bit finer than this, go ahead and put your palm on the top of your chef's knife and roll your knife around to chop a little bit finer. All right, so we've got our cilantro all diced up And we're going to add this to about 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. And this is a plain Greek yogurt. It's a great way to get less fat. There's no fat in this version, no added sugars to this version. So it's a good alternative to things like mayonnaise or sour cream that might be in a traditional version of this recipe. So we're going to add our cilantro to that. And then we're going to add about 1 teaspoon of cumin that adds a little bit more of that taco flavor. And then we're going to add just a little bit of lime juice to this as well. You don't need a whole lot, but it adds, again, a little bit more of that flavor complex to it that we want. And then we're just going to stir this up, get it all mixed together. And then we're going to take about 1.5 cups of shredded cabbage. Use any color that you want. If you like green and purple mixed together, you'll have a nice color combination on your final taco. If you only have one variety, that's fine. If you have a full head of cabbage and you want to slice it, use that as well. Both work really good. And we're just going to mix this up and get it well coated with our yogurt mix. And if you wanted to make this up the day ahead, you could and leave it in your refrigerator. Those flavors would meld a little bit more. And that's our slaw mixture for our tacos. Now, the next part of this recipe is completely optional. You don't have to do it. If you want to include it, you can. We're just going to mix up a sauce to go over top of this, and we're just going to use the rest of the yogurt from our individual cup. So on our first cabbage, it used about half of one of these individual serving cups, and we're going to use the other half for the sauce. So to this, again, we're just going to add a little bit of lime juice and a little bit of cilantro. And this is one you can drizzle over top if you just want a little bit more flavor into it. And we're going to mix that up. And a really easy way to get this to spread over your tacos after you build them is to go ahead and put it in a Ziploc bag. So get it down into the corner of your Ziploc bag. Go ahead and get the air out, seal it up. Take scissors and cut the very tip of your Ziploc bag, and that'll get you a nice, easy way to put that sauce on top of your taco when you're all done. So we're just gonna put a little bit of our slaw mixture on the bottom. We're gonna take a few of our shrimp, place those on top, and then some of our sauce. And you got yourself a taco. Have a great day. Thanks.